Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. And welcome to Tech Bite on Salam Media. My name is Faizel Patel. Inshallah, I will be in your company until about 7:30 p.m. this evening. So please stay tuned for all the latest updates on gadgets, technology, gizmos, and a whole lot of other aspects related to tech world. So coming up on the show, we're going to be speaking about a number of things, but before we go on to that, remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on Salam Media's social media platforms, including on YouTube. Jazakallah also to all the listeners who sent wonderful feedback and questions with regards to the tech show and the assistance they needed for some gadgets and gizmos that they have. So, inshallah, I am glad to assist where I can. Remember, you can interact with me by sending me a tweet on at Faizel Patel 143. I'm also on facebook.com/ Faizel Patel, also on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143. And some of the things that I speak about is available on my YouTube channel at Faizel Patel. So check that out. There's some review videos there. And then all the stories that I speak about this evening is available on my website at faizelpatel.com, also known as Wired to Tech. So I know there's a lot of people that are gamers out there that are tuned in this evening. Well, Samsung has got something up its sleeve. They've announced that select 2022 4K and 8K TVs and gaming monitors will support the new HDR10 Plus gaming standard. So this gaming standard just makes the gaming that you do more vivid, more vibrant, and just absolutely stunning. So the new HDR gameplay will be unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show 2022, along with a list of 4K and 8K game titles, all powered by NVIDIA GPUs. Now, for the gaming people, you'll understand exactly what I'm speaking about. So, Mike Van Leer, head of consumer electronics, Samsung South Africa, said the company will continue to invest in users' viewing experiences as technology continues to advance at and provide enhanced new features and capabilities. So I want to give you some details on this. Samsung's 2022 TV and gaming monitors lineup will support the HDR10 Plus gaming standard by allowing automated HDR calibration that provides stunning picture quality to meet game developers' demands across a variety of display technologies, including consoles, PCs, and more. So, what does it mean? If you're using an Xbox or you're using a PlayStation or you're even using a Nintendo and it's connected to a screen, you'll able to use this particular monitor and get this vivid colors. Now, my engineer will obviously put it up on the screen so you can have a look at that monitor that I'm talking about. Look at this, absolutely stunning. And I love pinball, so you'll see it's got a pinball game on there, but it's so vibrant and it is so beautiful. You have to experience it. So if you want to read more on this particular story, you can go to my website, as I mentioned, faizelpatel.com, also known as Wired to Tech. Now, before we go on to the next story, I just want to share something with you. We know what is happening in Ukraine at the moment. Russia has attacked, and there's a lot of things happening. Before I came into studio, Vladimir Putin, who's the president of Russia, was talking about getting his troops ready for nuclear warfare. So I would suggest that maybe you stay tuned to Salam Media for all the latest news updates, and I'm sure that all the guys will bring you that live. So stay tuned for all that because there's a lot happening in the world. Some people are speaking about World War III, and some people are talking about a nuclear warfare. So please stay tuned because this is a developing story. Now, coming on to our second story, one of the things that has affected the world a lot, obviously, is COVID 19. And one of the impacts of COVID 19 as people is people losing their jobs. So companies can't afford to keep people on, they're not making money. Lots of businesses have closed, private businesses, small entrepreneurship, they can't afford to people because the lockdown has had an impact on them. Well, I got some good news for you because there are helpful tools for young entrepreneurs on Huawei's App Gallery. So you could be a housewife or house executive, and you got a home industry based business, whether you're baking biscuits or you're making samosas or you selling Tupperware or you're selling any goodies at home, you need to get your products out there onto the market. How do you do that? Sometimes it's word of mouth, sometimes you share it on Facebook, on social media, but there are actually apps that can help you. And I'm going to share that with you, right? So, as Finance Minister Enoch Gondongwana prepared to deliver his maiden budget speech to revive South Africa's economy, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, it's known as the GEM, report has revealed that young people are increasingly turning to entrepreneurship to become economically active and put food on the table. So, in a nutshell, what is entrepreneurship? Basically, if you buy and sell, you could be a tailor, you could be a builder, you could be a graphic artist, you could be a graphic designer, you could be somebody that's supplying samosas. All these things fall under the entrepreneurship. And sometimes you can actually grow from this. I've seen some amazing stories where a person started off with one person and eventually became so busy they hired 10, 15 people. So that is entrepreneurship. Now, South Africa's current unemployment rate, and you'll be shocked by this, is hovering at around 35%. According to the report, almost 61% of respondents feel that there are good entrepreneurial opportunities in South Africa, while more than 83% of people are of the view that entrepreneurs hold a high status within our society. So you want to get your house styled, but you don't want to go to a professional, but you want somebody good enough. You see the guy standing on a corner and he does a brilliant job. I've used some of these guys and they really do wonderful work. So, fortunately, there is a wealth of tools available for people like you at home and any aspiring entrepreneur to get started. These can be explored and downloaded from the Huawei Appgallery. So if you are using a Huawei phone, you can download some of these apps. And somebody was asking me this week with regards to Huawei, whether there is enough apps available, whether it's not, the whole Google issue. We've spoken about it before. I'm telling you that you get at the moment iOS or the App Store, you get Google Play Store, and you get the Huawei Appgallery. I'm telling you, if you use the apps that you use on your other devices, this is not an issue with the Huawei store because most of the apps that you're looking for is available on there. So, what are the helpful tools that are available to Huawei users? Identifying your ideas, what idea you have to make sure that your entrepreneurial business or your business get noticed. Understanding entrepreneurship, what is it all about? Maybe it's a high word, you don't understand it, but maybe you can obviously ever read about it. And then managing risk. Excuse me. There's a lot of risk associated with entrepreneurship. You have to invest money, you could lose money, you're not making business, and maybe that's your primary source of income. So there's apps for that. And then marketing yourself. I think that is very, very important. How do people know that they can get samosas from Samira if Samira is not advertising? How do they know that Enoch is doing tiling, but Enoch is not advertising? And as I mentioned, the mobile phone has made the world a smaller place. Last week we talked about an app called Talk 360. This app makes it easier for people to connect with one another. So you could be a graphic artist and you're sitting in a Salam Media studio like I am, but somebody in Russia or somebody in America wants a graphic design. You can commission or they can commission that work from you and you can get it done. And that's halfway across the world. So there's a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurial skills. Maybe you are an electrician. Maybe you got a home industry business. So all these can assist. It is a very difficult job market. It's very difficult to find jobs at the moment. And at the moment, we're already in coming on to March. Tomorrow will be the last day of February. Petrol is going up from Wednesday from about 1 Rand 41. You're going to be paying over 21 Rand per liter. And sometimes the job, if husband and wife are not working together, you will not able to meet your financial sort of financial implications that you have on a monthly basis, your financial needs, and husband and wife both to work. Wife hasn't got experience, but she can do something from home. So look at these apps. It's available on the App Store. And marketing yourself, that was the last one we're talking about. But if you want to read more about it, you can go to my website at faizelpatel.com, also known as Wired to Tech. Right. So another topic that is very, very important at the moment, and I know most of you, and even including myself, use Gmail. Well, Gmail is getting a makeover. So it is a good platform to get emails, receive emails, your diaries. It's connected to various accounts, Google Mail, Google Cloud, your YouTube account, everything else. So basically, the company, that's Google, has announced it's introducing a new integrated view for Gmail. So it will make it easy to move between critical applications like Gmail, chat, and Meet in one location. So they're making it just very much easier. So the company made the announcement in a blog spot on Tuesday. Now, Google said while users can opt in to test the new experience, allowing them to try out and become more accustomed if they can and to it, and then they can revert to the classic Gmail via settings. So if you got this feature, you will see it will pop up on your screen. Do you want to try the new Gmail feature? If you say yes, and you're like, how do I go back? You don't have to go to settings, and you can revert back to the old Gmail features. Now, Google also said that some of the features of the new Gmail include new navigation menu, which allows you to easily switch between your inbox, important conversations, and join meetings without having to switch between tabs or open a new window. So that's absolutely amazing. And then notification bubbles make it easier to stay on top of what immediately needs your attention. When working chat or spaces, you can view a full list of conversations and spaces within a single screen, making it easier to navigate and to engage. So a lot of features coming to Google. Now they began rolling out the update for personal and domain users in February. The change should reach Gmail users in April. So if you haven't seen the change on your Gmail yet, don't stress, don't worry, don't go look for it. If you didn't get it yet, by April, you will see a new upgraded Gmail. And try it out because it's a wonderful product. I use Gmail all the time for my personal mail, and it really works wonderful. All right. So we're moving on to our next story, and this is very important because we spoke about this before, dear listeners, and this is about our young brothers and our young sisters becoming victims of cyber criminals and bullying. And I'm going to share some statistics with you because Microsoft, I was in a meeting with them this week and they shared some very important information with me. Now, I don't know, and I spoke about this last week. We mentioned the Netflix documentary called The Tinder Swindler. Now, if you haven't seen that and you got Netflix, I'm not promoting movies or anything in a way, but just trying to show you how dangerous social media apps can be. And if you haven't seen the program, I'm just going to give you an idea. It revolves around a few women who became so engrossed with somebody that they met on social media that they lost millions of dollars because this guy was duping them or engaging them to steal their money. And there's a lot of memes that's going around at the moment. So he would plan and say, I'm in trouble, my enemies are after me, please deposit money, take out a credit card, take out a loan. And they used to give him all the money. And when eventually he used to get the money, then he used to disappear. It is a true and factually based Netflix documentary. Please check it out if you haven't checked it out because it will highlight a lot of cyber hacking that's happening at the moment and how unfortunately our youngsters and even adults are becoming entrapped by these criminals that are out there. So the one I want to speak to you about is called the Digital Civility Index. It's also called the DCI, and this index has revealed that teen girls, it means teenage girls, if you've got a teenage daughter at home and if parents are watching this, please share this with your daughters or with your even your sons. The latest Digital Civility Index has revealed that teenage girls and women, that could be even your wife and your sisters, women, reported being most or more exposed online risks, feeling more severe consequences as a result. So your wife, your daughters, your teenage children, they were found to have been exposed more online than anybody else. So Microsoft, as I mentioned, shared the findings of the DCI at its Women at Microsoft Digital Safety and Tech Savvy Parenting event on Tuesday. I'm saying, dear listeners, that you need to have these things in moderation. Know what your children are surfing. I promise you, try this out. If you haven't got any settings on your child's tablet, just search a word, right? And Type in a word that is maybe associated with something that is PG related. Now, assuming there's nothing that's set on your computer, there's no parenting or any age restriction, you'll see the bad things that come up. It's absolutely shocking. And if your child gets older, they see these things and it really can have a damage on them. So the global survey is in its sixth year, asked teenagers between 13 and 17 years and adults aged 18 to 74 about their exposure to 21 different online risks across four categories, that is sexual, reputation, personal intrusive, and the experiences of life online. Now, this year's global DCI scores at 65%, which is the best as it has been since the survey began in 2016. This is an improvement, so it's becoming better since 2020. Now, it revealed that the overall gains were driven primarily by males. 90% of the year on year improvement seen was accounted for by men, with teenage boys experiencing significantly fewer risks. Maybe because the boys are more technical. Nothing against the ladies, no doubt. There are some ladies that are phenomenal tech bloggers and that sort of stuff. I'm just saying that this is what the survey revealed. Now, come on to the females. Females experienced almost 60%, 50% of all risks reported in 2021, an all time high that were also more likely to have experienced consequences, worry, or pain due to being treated uncivilly. What does it mean? They swear them online, they abuse them, there's verbal abuse, there's social media abuse. Do you want your daughter to go through that? Do you want your wife to go through that? I would suggest please read the story. It's available on my website at faizelpatel.com, and put some parental limitations on your child's tablet, on their phone, so they're not exposed to this. You know, we've heard of the story. There was one story I want to share with you quickly. A few years back, uh, a child was chatting to somebody online, and they were chatting for a few good months, and after a while they decided to meet at a hotel. And when the child walked in, she didn't realize that the person that she was chatting with online was actually her father. Now imagine that. That's how bad it is. So we really need to see what our children are doing online. We need to set some parental restrictions and ensure that they kept safe. You know, our Muslim brothers and sisters, especially our daughters. I got a little daughter as well, a 15-year-old, who I ensure that I monitor all the time. We have to ensure that they are kept safe online. Right. And our final story for this evening, very, very important. If you are a Cell C customer, right, there's some news for you as far as your prepaid bundles are concerned. That is your LTE prepaid bundles. So if you are using Cell C, I'm going to share some news with you. So basically, Cell C's Home Connect, a flexi prepaid LTE bundles launched in 2021, is offering users cheaper alternatives to fixed line broadband. So that's some good news. The mobile network has now implemented a bundle reshuffle offering mobile data for lower prices. That's what we want, isn't it? Lower data most of the time. You know, I made a joke with somebody a few weeks ago. I say it was on Eid's day and somebody was getting Eid. And this particular child told the person, no, 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 I don't want Eid, just buy me data. So that's the way we are living in, and that's the society we're living at the moment. So Cell C's new LTE pricing structure, the mobile service provider has dropped a few of its previously offered bundles and replaced them with other offerings. So it has opted to replace its 5 gigabyte plus 5 gigabyte package, which costs 60 Rand, with a 6 gigabyte plus 6 gigabyte bundle at 90 Rand. Similarly, the 50 by 50 at 200 Rand bundle has been replaced with a 40 gig by what 190 Rand. So you're getting a lot more data for less of the price. So let's go through some of the details. And before we do that, so the CLC Chief Commercial Officer, Simo Mkize, said, we realized that some of our customers needed more affordable entry points into the home connector flexi, with other needed slightly more data each month. So a lot of you use data. If you're using a phone like this, you use more data. You want to play games, you want to go onto WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok even, and you need more data, right? So some of the prices, I'm going to go through it. So the 4 gigabyte, 2 plus 2 costs 45 Rand, 12, 6 plus 6 costs 90 Rand, 20, 10 plus 10 costs 140 Rand, 50 gigs, 25 plus 25, 170, 80 gigs, 40 plus 40 at 90 Rand, and the top of the range, 1 terabyte plus 1 terabyte is at 900 Rand. So you can check that out. It's if you are a CLC customer, and it's really affordable. I think data is getting cheaper. There is an auction going to be taking place later this month or in March, where the government, that's the communications department, is offering extra what do you call it, broadband, and there's an auction taking place for this, and hopefully the data prices will come cheaper as well. So we've just got about a minute left. I just want to go through a Instagram post that's come through from Zakia Tayob. She's been chatting to me online on Instagram, and she was asking me about what phone she can afford. Now, this is something I spoke to listeners last week about, where you asked me what phone, you if you've got a certain amount of money you can afford. It really depends on what you want. A lot of people are against Huawei, or don't want to go for Huawei because of the Google issue. That is really not an issue. I used Huawei. I promise, go check out my YouTube channel, where I actually focus on how easy it is to use the apps without actually worrying about the Play Store. But again, I want to share with you before we conclude, there's a couple of questions you need to ask yourself. Number one, what do you want in a smartphone? You need to ask yourself that. What do you want in a smartphone? Camera, data, storage space, bigger screen, foldable phone, probably the Galaxy Fold, whatever it is. Number two, how much can you afford? Can you afford 300 Rand, 400 Rand, 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand? Do you want to buy it cash? And number three, need to ask yourself, what brand do you feel sort of what brand do you associate yourself, what loyalty or what brand loyalty do you like, and then from there you can decide. You don't have to have the best phone or the most expensive phone to have all the flagship features. I spoke about the Huawei Y9A. Check it out on my YouTube channel. Brilliant. I've got over 500 views on that particular video. It's an affordable device going for 7,000 Rand, but it's got a brilliant camera, 64 megapixel camera. It's absolutely brilliant. Space ring design, brilliant screen. You can do so much. So check it out. And if there's still more questions, you can tweet me on it, Faizel Patel 143. You can also send me an Instagram post at Faizel Patel 143, on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. And also remember my YouTube channel on Faizel Patel. And if you still want to get hold of me, maybe leave a message with the Salam Media team, and inshallah, I will then get back to you and answer your questions as well. So anyway, that concludes the show for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. As I mentioned, you can go get over me on the several social media accounts that I have. And if you missed the show, don't stress, because this show will be on YouTube. It will be also on my tech website, which is faisalpatel.com, also known as Wire to Tech. I normally attach all the shows in there, and you can catch up with all the latest technology on that particular podcast on Salam Media, and also on my website. So from myself, Faisal Patel, and my engineer for this evening, Sadiq, from all of us here at Salam Media, fi amanillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.